Guys, so start of the week of practice, getting ready for Carolina. I know you guys are going to ask me. I mean, Derek, participated in practice. We had him on a little bit of a pitch count today, but he did well, and I think signs are optimistic for the weekend.
Will Jake be the backup when Derek's back?
Yeah, that's probably the direction that we're gonna go. Yeah.
What do you all evaluate on Derek? Like, is it just his mobility or just ability? I mean, as far as
Yeah, I think it's really just about how he looks out here in practice and how he throws the football and how he feels in doing that. And like I said, he's been feeling much better each and every day and looked good out there today. So I'm really encouraged by what I saw today.
Dennis, is it planned for Chris to wear a Guardian cap for Sunday's game?
Say it again.
Is it planned for Chris Olave to wear a Guardian cap?
I think that's still part of the discussion.
Yeah. So Derek's range of motion is where you guys feel like it needs to be and the comfort level. And
Yeah, look, I mean, like I said, I thought he looked good in practice today. We'll see how he feels tomorrow, but it was encouraging.
So Jake would be your starter if Derek can't go for whatever reason?
Yeah, we'll just wait and see.
You've been on extended losing streaks before. Is there anything you've learned dealing with them over the years that can help you in this situation now?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, look, the last one, I guess, was back in 2021. We lost 5 in a row, and I think the biggest thing is, man, keeping guys together, keeping guys, encouraged, and yet understand the things that we have to do to be able to win games. I think that's key. Look, I thought we had a lot of energy at practice today. I thought we had a good practice. I thought our execution in practice was good. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is kind of maintaining some consistency. And really honing in on the details, and I think we did a better job of that today.
You're obviously a coordinator then. Is there anything different about being the main coach, the head coach in this situation?
Well, you're worried about, offense, defense, kicking game. When you're the coordinator, your main focus is just your side of the ball. So there's a lot more that goes into that.
If I could make just context. So Derek was the starter and Jake was the backup, and then Derek got hurt and Spencer started. Now Derek comes back, Jake's the backup. I know winning is paramount, but was Rattler to get a look for the future then when he started?
No, I think, look, we looked at everything. We felt like Rattler, gave us the best chance at the time, and so I think, we'll see where we're at come this weekend. What the expectation is. My expectation is that Derek's going to be ready to go. And so, in that case, Jake will be the backup this week. So it's really, just, I don't want to get into the specifics of, the reasons why, but we feel like that's the best thing for our team.
Did Marshawn injure himself more extensively than the last time, or is there a hope that he could be back this week?
I think we'll just have to see. But it's, the same hamstring that it was, the week before.
And you thought after the game Kendra's was the opposite, was that correct?
Yes.
Do you place a lot of value in the last 3 games just as far as a reflection of what the team is, or when there's the stuff you guys are dealing with? How do you guys look at that?
Well, look, I mean, it is what it is, and we're not really focused a lot on, where we were in the last 3 or 4 weeks or 3 or 4 games. We're really focused on what we got to do to try to win this game against Carolina. Obviously, there was some challenging circumstances that we dealt with, but, everybody deals with challenging circumstances in our league, so can't really focus on that. And quite frankly, what we have to do is focus on how do we play better football against Carolina this weekend.
I guess a better question is do you feel like what you were maybe the first 2, 3, 4 weeks is something you can tap back into?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, you know, I said this from the beginning. I still feel now that we have a good football team. And, you know, hopefully we're getting closer to, you know, full strength, and we can play kind of the way we played, you know, early on in the season.
Yeah, Carolina said that Bryce was going to start. They announced it a few minutes ago. But have you seen much improvement from him from first game to? I know he missed some games.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I thought he played better in this game against Denver. You know, they did some things to try to get the ball out of his hands quickly. I thought he operated, you know, in that situation pretty well. I thought he did a good job, you know, in the 2-minute drive there at the end of the game to go down and get some points. So, you know, I think look, this is a good quarterback. You know, we're gonna have to play well to try to win the game, and I think, you know, they drafted him number 1 overall for a reason.
Terrence,
Illness.
Do you look at like the history? I know just 2 years ago, Jacksonville was 2-6 and then went on a run, and Washington, I think, in 20. Do you show and talk to the team about that?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I know it's been done before. None of those things have any bearing on what we're able to accomplish, you know. So I think we really just focus on the things that we have to do to try to improve.
How do you guys kind of like ward off frustration when you're kind of losing games and, you know, that this is going up?
Yeah. Look, I mean, you know, this is a tough-ass business that we're in, you know, and you know, when you lose games like that, it's hard. I mean, a lot of guys, you know, it hits everybody pretty hard, you know, and so I think, you know, look, this is the time for the leaders, coaches, players, for those guys to step out front and be out front and lead, and that's what we'll do.
Any update on Eric McCoy? Is he on schedule?
He's making good progress, so you know, we'll see. You know, I don't expect him back this week, so we'll see how it goes.
Have you seen signs of that from the leaders so far? Like, have they like held meetings or anything? Like, is there anything that's been different about this week than maybe it was last week?
Yeah, I'm unaware of any, you know, specific, you know, player meetings or anything like that. You know, I had a meeting with the captains last night, which we've done, you know, really basically kind of once a month, you know, just to discuss the status of the team and status of the locker room. It was a very positive meeting. All those guys were upbeat and encouraged. And so, you know, I don't have challenges with where we're at in terms of, you know, our team, our locker room. I don't like the record, and I think we need to play better. But any of those other things, I don't have a lot of concerns about.
Dennis, yeah, I mean, the messaging from management, I guess, coaching, Mickey Loomis when he's gone on the radio, is looking beyond the results, realizing the injuries have piled up, realizing there's reasons for these losses. I know, you know, a lot of the fan base is the opposite. It's 6 straight losses.
Listen, I get it. I mean, it's frustrating. It's frustrating for the fans. It's frustrating for us too, you know. But I think we can't worry about all those things because none of that we control. All right, all we control is what happens inside this building and how we, you know, go about trying to improve ourselves. And so I think that's kind of what our focus is.
What I was also going to ask, though, is where do players usually fall in that? I know it's probably different for every player, but when you're meeting with the leaders, do you see them recognizing the underlying reasons, or do you see frustration piling up with each?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think there's a combination of all those things. You know, I mean, these guys that have been around here a while, they understand the challenges that go along with, you know, the injuries and things like that, and yet they also understand that, you know, we have a job to do, and our job's really to win, and so we got to continue to, you know, try to push forward in that regard. And, you know, like I said, you know, there's nothing we can do about, you know, the last 8 weeks. You know, all we can focus on is what we do moving forward.
Have you been part of teams where that has been lost, where you've seen that erode, and that, you know?
Yeah, I think everybody at some point in time in this league, you're in this league long enough, you see, you know, what it looks like when guys, you know, don't have hope. I don't feel that way with our group. You know, I thought, like I said, I thought today they came out and they practiced hard, they executed, and I thought there was a lot of, you know, energy and excitement about getting back to work. So, and that's what we have to do.
Are you guys like in danger of losing that? If
No.
yeah, I was just wondering like if it's more of like a character thing among the players, or like if it's a results. How much do the results influence that, I guess, would be a question.
Well, look, I mean, I think anytime, you don't win, it's not easy. It's a struggle. But I think our guys have, continued to stick together. I think they've continued to, come to work every day and try to improve. And I think that's all we can really control, is how we come to work every day and how the type of effort we put into it and the type of attention to detail we have, and like I said, I thought it was better today.
Do you get a sense, DA, of the frustration from the fan base? I mean, does that get back to you? Or are you in a cocoon here?
Oh, look, I mean, with all you guys, I mean, it's hard, I mean, yeah, I think everybody, understands the frustration, and I get it, I mean, look, we're frustrated here too. But that doesn't change how we have to go about approaching getting ready for the next game. And so I don't necessarily blame the fans for being frustrated. I mean, they want to win, but everybody in this building wants to win too, and I think we're working extremely hard to try to get that done.
Well, it's been 8 weeks. Do you look ahead at this opponent? How much does it matter that you beat them the way that you did?
0. It doesn't matter at all. I mean, that game was 8 weeks ago. So it matters what we do this week in practice, and it matters what we do on Sunday in the game.
Now that you got your quarterback back, or possibly will, like when he's back on the field, does the urgency though, like does it, got to start winning kind of quick once he's back out there? Like, does that change the urgency at all now that you kind of have your guys back?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a sense of urgency with our team. I mean, the margin for error for us is extremely small right now. So, but I think you got to be careful, solely focusing on results. Don't get me wrong. The results are important, so I don't want to minimize that. I think what you have to focus on is how you're going to improve. And then if you focus on the things that you have to do to improve, the results end up taking care of themselves. And so I think that's where the focus has to be.
Going back to what Jeff was asking, like, have you had any personal interactions with like fans where they say maybe something out of pocket or?
No.
Maybe I bring too much into this, but like the stuff that you guys are working on today and the portion of practice where you're able to see with like the cones and that stuff, like, is that focusing more on fundamentals, anything like that, or?
Not which part of practice were you talking about?
Just like the part.
I mean, the initial part of practice generally is there's a kind of get them going part a little bit, and then you start into your, kind of fundamental and technique periods, So I don't know if maybe you were talking about the turnover drill that we were doing early on, emphasis on protecting the football, those kinds of things. Yeah, I mean, I think that's, part of what we do.
I know situations are much different, but you've been through situations like this before. I know what you dealt with the Raiders was a rebuilding franchise and young players and stuff like that. But do you learn anything from those experiences, how you handle tough times then when things seemed like it was going?
Yeah, I mean, look, again, tough times don't last, tough people do. And you have to just, keep your head down, keep going to work, and doing the very best job that you can, and that's what we've been doing. And I know the results hadn't been there, but that's what we're doing, and that's what we're going to do. And that's the only way that you get yourself out of it, is to keep coming into work and keep, focusing on the things you have to do to improve.
some of the comments from like Pete Warner the other day, I think Alvin at the beginning, it sounded like they were saying some players on the team maybe aren't paying attention to the details, aren't maybe doing some of the things that.
Yeah, I think when, yeah, well, look, I mean, I think when I think we got a lot of young guys that are learning how to be pros, and, it's unfortunate that they have to learn at a really fast speed. And so that's part of what we're trying to work on.
Is that incumbent on the veteran leaders of the team or coaching? Or
I think it's all of us. I said this the other day. This is not a player thing. It's not a coach thing. This is an us thing, and all of us are involved in it. And all of us have to work to improve in those areas because it affects everyone. It affects the coaches. It affects the players. It affects the front office. It affects the owner. It affects the fans. You know what I mean? So it's all of us that have to work to get that better.
Is there accountability in that, and that you can make personnel changes to drive that point home, or is that?
Yeah, I mean, well, everything's on the table. I think, some personnel changes have been dictated based on, health. So. All good? All right, thanks, guys.